Good evening po sa lahat ng mga taga-subaybay natin and ang ating mga masugid na mga reviewers for our civil service examination. Welcome po dito sa ating third session of Numerical Reasoning here in Gurong Pinoy for the Civil Service Examination Review. Bago po tayo mag-umpisa, can we share po yung location natin para alam po natin kung hanggang saan po ang abot ng ating Gurong Pinoy International Review. And kumusta naman po yung pag-visit sa atin ni Chedeng, ano po? Dito po sa area namin, di na po masyadong umuulan. Medyo umulan ng heavy rains talaga kahapon, pero ngayon okay naman. So, parang maganda naman yung broadcast, I believe, but yung forecast rather. But baka meron po tayong mga medyo maulanin na mga lugar like the northern areas, mga Zambales area, I believe, medyo ulanin. So, we have here from Kalinga, from Pasay, from Holo, wow. So, kumusta kaya yung sa Kalinga? Kumusta yung ano diyan, yung panahon diyan? Good evening po sa lahat. Pa-share po ng location. And we are in our third session of review for numerical reasoning. So, yung numerical reasoning review po natin, meron po tayo, I believe, 8 sessions. So, sa 8 sessions po na yan, nasa pangatlo na po tayo. And for tonight's session, ito po yung main coverage natin. In the past 2 sessions, nag-cover po tayo ng diagnostic test po na kinuha ninyo noong nakaraan. Yung 40 items ng diagnostic test sa numerical reasoning, nag-discuss po tayo. And for tonight, we are going to mainly focus on a few of the topics in mathematics, yung mga commonly na lumalabas during civil service examinations. And these would include patterns, some basic operations, and some word problems. So in the patterns and basic operations, I believe kahit paunti-unti, may mga na-discuss na rin tayo during the diagnostic test na topic natin. However, for tonight, mas masinsinan po yung ating discussion. Ayan, so we have from Oriental Mindoro and Davao del Norte, Camarines, Zamboanga. Okay, Butuan. So I hope hindi masyadong maulan. Meron tayong mga first-timers. Welcome po sa inyong lahat. Don't worry, kahit first-timers po kayo, if you are part of the group natin sa Civil Service Examination, you will still have unlimited access to the previous na mga videos. So if you are going to take the Civil Service Examination this coming August, I would really recommend na magpa-member po talaga tayo for our Civil Service Review Program. Dito po sa Gurong Pinoy by directly messaging our Facebook account po para naman updated tayo and you will have unlimited access. So you'll be giving you advance copy of the questions para naman if you have time, maybe Friday or any other time of the week, na free time kayo, pwede nyo na pong maumpisahang sagutan yung ating numerical reasoning. And speaking of free time, by the way, in the next few weeks, meron po tayong review with Teacher Gon. If fina-follow niyo po si Teacher Gon, he is a social media po na content creator po siya. He has an account on Facebook and YouTube. And isa po siya multi-awarded teacher. And he mainly posts math tricks. So if meron po kayong time this week, every Thursday at 7 p.m., kung libre po kayo, please do check out Teacher Gon's free sessions here in Gurong Pinoy. Isa po siya sa mga collab natin sa Gurong Pinoy. Please do check out his sessions starting next Thursday, every Thursday of June. Kasi po yung covered natin ng discussion dito sa ating numerical reasoning with me are the ones na medyo lumalabas na doon sa mga civil service examinations. Minsan po, yung mga kino-cover kong topics, may mga basic discussions na maaring ma-skip or hindi ko siya ma-discuss ng masinsinan kasi ibang topic po yung focus natin. And mathematics po kasi is, po siya yung mathematics, it's a skill-based subject. Kung ano yung na-learn mo na basic, dinadagdagan lang natin yung intensity tsaka yung coverage natin bago po siya makarating sa another kind of topic. So, any chance that you have to review mathematics, please take it po. If libre po kayo every Thursday, starting next week, June 15, please check out Coach Gon's session on math tricks that will start 7 p.m. June 15. Ayan, so meron po tayong from Cabacan, Cotabato. Ayan. Of course, Ma'am Carla May Alingasa from saan po tayo, ma'am? Ayan, mga first-timers, welcome po sa mga first-time natin na mga members of our Gurong Pinoy International Civil Service Examination Review. Ayan po. We will begin in a short while. Just a few more minutes lang po para medyo marami-dami na rin yung mga nakakapag-attend ng ating session. So, as we are waiting for the rest of us to join in this session, please do share your location for tonight. Kung saan po tayo. Ayan, meron tayong from Iloilo. Same po, ma'am. I'm from Iloilo also. Sige. From Cotabato. Okay. So, marami-rami na rin. Hopefully, hindi po masyadong maulan sa mga northern areas. Yun po kasi yung nasa broadcast. Ayan, meron din from Holo, so South Cotabato. So medyo safe po tayo sa ulan, hopefully at night. So a few things to remember when we are here in our numerical reasoning review. This is mainly focusing on civil service examination, pero kung meron man dito who would also like to take the LET, pwede rin po yung numerical reasoning na session natin na ito because the coverage for the general education is very, very similar sa dinidiscuss dito sa numerical reasoning. Nga lang, yung Gen Ed sa LET, hindi tayo certain kung ilang math items ang lumalabas. Minsan marami, minsan kakaunti. But in the civil service examination, 40 items po talaga yung lumalabas na numerical reasoning. So, as in exactly 40 items yan. So, wala pa po dyan yung logic, which is a different topic naman altogether, pero kind of similar sa math. If you're going to take the LET po, ayan, meron po tayong kukuha ng LET dito. Asa na po doon si ma'am? Kukuha daw ng LET. Anyway, kung kukuha po kayo ng LET, ang coverage po natin ay angkop din for licensure examination general education. Nga lang, hindi po tayo sure kung ilang items talaga yung lumalabas kasi depende na po yun sa gumagawa ng exam sa LET. Ayan. If you're going to take the examination, any examination, please do remember na bawal po yung calculators sa Gen Ed ng LET at saka sa My Civil Service Examination. And so, practice po tayo na wala pong calculators. Sanayin na po natin ang selves natin ng ganoon. Okay po? So, I would also start to recommend na if you're taking a look at this examination or at this review, start nyo na po train yung self nyo na pag kukuha po kayo ng exam, meron po kayong questionnaire dyan and answer sheet, tapos meron lang po kayong bond paper as your scratch, and meron po kayong pencil. So, maybe you could start positioning yourself as if you're taking the examination. Sit in a desk with only the necessary materials that you have, a pencil, and then bond paper, and then do your solving and calculations doon din po. Para medyo nasasanay tayo at nasasanay tayo na nag-a-answer ng mga quiz habang kasama ko pa po kayo during review, and hopefully, pag nandun na po kayo taking the test, maaalala niyo po kung anong ginagawa ninyo kasi yung rigor ng solving is exactly the same na ginagawa niyo while nagre-review kayo, saka during taking the test. So, grasp all the opportunities to practice. Si math po kasi kailangan ng maraming practice. Ayan po. So, recap lang po natin yung mga schedules natin for mathematics. Yung schedule po natin dito sa mathematics ay ito po. So, for mathematics, nakakover na po tayo ng two sessions here, diagnostic tests 1 and 2 na discussion. And these are available po dun sa Civil Service Review, yung mga past videos natin. Available po sa Civil Service Review group. Pero kung bago po kayo, it's totally fine. Nandito na po tayo sa discussion on, Nandito na po tayo sa discussion on patterns, basic operations, and word problems that will mainly focus on perimeter and area. Ayan. So, are we ready? Please have your scratch papers na po with you and then your writing implements as we start to practice. Remember, wala pong calculators. Ayan po. I hope you had the advanced copy given earlier, pero kung wala, okay lang po yun. So, our first topic for tonight is mainly yung patterns. So, patterns are repeated arrangement of numbers, shapes, and colors, and so on. So, in civil service examination, items involve number sequences with common differences, products, or both. So, ayan po. Sandali lang ha, medyo nababother ako. Involve. Ayan. So, sa civil service examination, yung patterns po, meron tayong mga numbers. So, sequences po siya. In Gen Ed po sa LET, lumalabas din po siya para po sa mga takers natin ng civil service tsaka LET doon po sa may August and September. Ayan. So, let's have a few basic preparation po muna. So, if we have to do your patterns, yung patterns po natin, as mentioned, we are having that na naka-numbers lang po yung discussion natin or parang sequences lang siya of numbers here in tawag dito, here in the examination that you're going to take. So they will give you a set of numbers, and sometimes yung patterns po niya might involve may same differences, magsiskip lang po tayo ng number, or sometimes yung pagkakaiba po from one number to the other ay kailangan nag-i-increase din siya. Minsan ina-add, sinasubtract, minumultiply, dinidivide. So, based on these examples, kung titingnan po natin siya, sandali lang po, meron po tayo. Kailangan ko po i-audit ng saglit lang. Ayan, tingnan po natin yung naka-flash dito sa ating screen ng mga examples po natin. So, the first set here, we have your 5, 12, 19, 26, and 33. So, can you recognize kung ano po yung pattern na nandito? Ayan. So, as you can see in these numbers here, what we have is from 5 to 12, meron po tayong, yung nangyari po dyan is parang nag-add lang tayo ng 7. Yung next number natin dito, nag-add rin tayo ng 7. Ganun din po for your succeeding item. So, we expect na yung last item natin dito, mag-a-add rin tayo ng 7. Kasi consistent lang siya eh. Just keep on adding 7 all the time. And so, we expect that our answer here will be, tama po, si Von, si June. The answer that we're expecting here is 40 po. Ayan. Paano naman po kaya sa next na number? Na yung involved po ay nag-i-increase naman yung differences. So, yung example po natin, meron po tayo dito na from 8 naging 9, so nag-plus 1. From 9 to 11, nag-plus 2. From 11 to 14, nag-plus 3. So as you can see, yung differences po, nag-i-increase din siya. Hindi siya na isang number lang all the time. So dahil nag-i-increase din po siya, we expect that this is plus 4. This will be plus 5. So this has to be plus 6, which means that the number that we are expecting here is 29. Ayan. So, si Melvin, ayan, nag-solve talaga siya nag-generate talaga siya ng equation. Ayan. So, kung iba po yung answer natin, medyo take a step back po muna. Tingnan natin kung bakit medyo iba yung answer natin. Ayan, yes. Plus 6 po and 29. So, yun po yung patterns usually. But remember, hindi lang po yan yung pwedeng pattern. Pwedeng may multiplication, may division, may subtraction, so on and so forth. Now, let's try a few items here para naman po ma-check po natin if we are okay na po tayo doon sa mga patterns na item. So, let me just identify. Para naman po, if you are sharing your answers here in the comment section, malagay niyo po kung anong letter siya para hindi po tayo nagkakatrenta kung anong items po yung answer natin. Ayan. So please do share your answers here in our comment section para po makita natin kung ano po yung pace ninyo pag-answer, and I can also adjust my pace if we need more time or perhaps we need more discussion or parang okay po yung pace natin. Okay. So, yes, live po yung broadcast natin. Meron po nagtatanong. This is live broadcast. So it's June 10 and currently 7:10 p.m. here where I am at. So ayan. So we are having, ayan, dami na answer na 100. So as you can see, it's all the time, puro lang siya plus 20. So I will expect na plus 20 din yan dito. And indeed, it is 100. How about yung second item po, yung letter B? Ano naman po yung answer ninyo? Ayan, may sumasagot na rin ang letter B. So let's take a look kasi medyo magkaiba yung answers. May 45, tapos merong 46. So let's try to check what's going on here. So dito po sa may letter B, what we have here is the first item, plus 2 siya. The second item is plus 4. The third item here is nagiging plus 6. So ayan. Can you see the pattern na po? So meron na po siyang pattern that you keep on adding pero yung dinadagdag po natin is also increasing. So if meron pong patterns, please make sure na wag po tayong dalawa lang or isang set lang ay okay na. Usually we need to check 2 to 3 items para po sure tayo na yung pattern natin is correct at hindi po siya iba-iba. So this is plus 8, plus 10. We expect this to be plus 12 and so the correct answer expected here is 45. Ayan, may nakakakuha pa ng tamang sagot and congratulations. Kung iba po yung sagot ninyo, paki-review lang po, paki-backtrack kung bakit. Saan po ba kayo nagkamali? Iba po ba yung pattern na nakikita ninyo? Or mali lang po yung pagkadagdag ninyo? Yun po. So para malaman ninyo kung ano yung kailangan yung i-enhance sa skill, yung pag-recognize ng pattern or yung basic skills natin sa addition. Kasi common lang naman po na maging careless. So, dalhin po natin sa practice para maiwasan yung carelessness. Now, let's take a look at letter C. If you don't mind, please do share din po yung patterns na nakikita ninyo because it's also possible that the pattern you are seeing might be different from the pattern that I am seeing. Ma'am, Kads, Marian, I think, ayan, plus 10. Kulang lang po tayo kasi yung plus 10, nandito pa lang po yan. Ayan po yung plus 10. So, yung plus 20, plus 12 na dapat yung kasunod. So, yung letter C, meron na tayong maraming answer. Ayan. Suki talaga to sa JC. Ayan. So, letter D na pala sa JC. Wait, letter C pa lang ako. Ayan. Ano na ba yung pattern natin dito in letter C? So, if you try to do addition, what happens here is plus 4, tapos biglang nag-plus 18. Parang ang layo naman yata. Parang walang pattern. So, maybe hindi addition yung pattern. So, backtrack tayo. Sometimes, yung unang itatry po ninyo may not match what seems to be happening. It's okay. Take a second look and repeat. Do something else. Yun lang po yung kagandahan sa math. If you do something wrong at the start, pwede nyo po siyang makorect as long as nakikita po natin na medyo iba siya. So, 2 to 6, either you add 4 or you can also multiply it by 3. 6 to 24, this is times 4. Tapos 24 to 72, this is again times 3. So as you can see, ano ba yung pattern? Nag-e-increase ba yung minumultiply natin or umuulit-ulit siya? So first is times 3, then times 4, then bumalik sa times 3. So we expect that the next one is probably going to be a times 4. So medyo may specific pattern yung minumultiply natin. And I think I'm seeing some correct answers already, which is 288. Pa-share po ng ating pattern doon sa ng ating answers and pattern if possible doon po sa letter D at saka for letter E na rin if narating nyo na po siya. Ayan, it's good to see na marami na po tayong 72. Ay, hindi po si Ma'am Charlene, hindi po siya times 3, dapat times 4 na po siya. So, what happens if you skip looking at some items? For example, yung 6, akala natin yung papuntang 24 ay times 3 din. We might assume na times 3 siya from the start. So, posible po na magkakamali yung answer natin. So, be very, very careful po sa ginagawa natin. Okay lang po magkamali dito, basta you can determine saan kayo nagkamali and paano kayo nagkamali. And more importantly, how to avoid the same mistake later. So, do not be hesitant. If mali-mali yung sagot ninyo, okay lang yan. It means you're trying and it means you are learning. So, let's try the next one. Marami na po kasing sagot sa letter D. So, what's happening here is, ako personally, my go-to is I always try to start with addition before I consider multiplication. So, this one is plus 6. This one is plus, 12. Okay, parang legit, no? 6 tapos naging 12. Parang pwede. This one is plus, 24. Are you seeing the pattern now? Anong nangyayari sa dinadagdag natin? And this one here becomes plus 48. So yung dinadagdag po natin ay nadodoble, right? So dahil nadodoble rin yung dinadagdag natin, 6 times 2, 12. Let me point that out. 6 times 2, 12, times 2, 24, times 2, 48. So we expect that the next number that we add here will also be multiplied by 2. So yung 48 magiging plus 96, which should give us, that's 89, hindi 8. Ayan. Oh, and meron na rin tayong mga answer. Michelle Gasita, ma'am, paki-change and to all our YouTube viewers, paki-change po ng setting ninyo sa YouTube. Sa YouTube po kasi, naka-automatic siya na 720. So, paki-change po ng setting yung 3 dots po sa upper right corner. Paki-change yung setting to 4,000 or 1,000 plus yung screen natin para po hindi siya blurred. Ayan. Oh, ayan. Marami na po tayong answer sa letter E. That's great. So, as we can see here, yung numbers lang po yung titingnan ninyo. So, yung numbers here, nag-plus 5 tayo. Plus 5. Consistent po siya na plus 5, ano? So we expect na plus 5 din tayo dito sa dulo. So this should be 16 plus 5. Meron po dapat tayong 21 dyan. So kung 21 po yan, ano po kaya yung letter niya? Take note na yung letter na katabi ng number also corresponds to the letter doon sa alphabet. A is the first letter. F is also your sixth letter. K is also your ikailang letter po siya, that is 11th, and 16 is, the 16th letter is P. So ano po ba yung 21st letter? It's going to be U. Ayan po. So, paki-review po ng mga answers natin so far and paki-check if we are doing things correctly at kung tama po ba yung sagot natin. Minsan po, hindi naman po tayo perfecto, may pagka-careless din po tayo. So kung may nakita po kayong medyo iba dyan, please let me know. Or if you still have questions and clarifications on specific items, please let me know here in the comment section para naman po ma-address natin. Ito po yung advantage if you're viewing the live sessions. If meron kayong questions, madali po nating ma-address. Ayan. So let's take a look at the second set. Let's have another one. Ayan po. So I will again label this A, B, C, D, and E. Patience lang po sa YouTube viewer natin dyan. Kailangan lang po ng yung math kasi, kailangan niya ng practice, tsaka time talaga na tinututok. If minsan-minsan niyo lang po siya ginagawa, hindi po na-develop yung skill. So like anyone who really needs to improve on anything, halimbawa, pagkanta, paggitara, or pag-solve ng Rubik's Cube, you really have to practice. So more practice, okay lang kung may errors from the start, eventually you will get better at it. Ayan. So if you feel na medyo mabilis po tayo, backtrack nyo lang po ito doon sa video once it's released doon po sa ating Facebook group. Pwede nyo pong ulit-ulitin. Ayan, marami nang sumasagot sa letter A. Please also answer the rest of the items. Ano po bang pattern na nakikita natin sa letter A? Medyo madali lang makita yung pattern sa letter A. Ano po? So what's happening here is you are just multiplying everything by 2. So we expect that this one should also be multiplied by 2. As you can see, usually, pag parang pareho na po yung pattern, hindi ko na siya inuubos na ina-identify. Pag I feel na na-establish ko na po yung pattern. Kasi as alam naman po natin, hindi lang naman math yung sasagutan natin sa examination. So what I want you to do is really practice not just getting the correct answer, but also becoming faster in trying to solve. Kasi hindi lang po math yung item. Marami po tayong ibang item. I always say, if you feel that you're taking too much time in a single item, skip. Shade or like mark the answer na baka ito yung sagot. Tapos you just skip, so on and so forth. Para po, hindi tayo nagta-take too much time sa isang item lang. Okay? And also, it helps if yung answer ninyo, nakikita nyo na po siya sa choices. So for now, wala po munang choices yung iba para ma-enhance muna yung skill. As we go along, continuous na yung discussion natin, meron na po tayong mga choices para napapractice na natin kung paano talaga sumagot ng actual examination. Ayan. So let us keep on answering this one. And as we can see, letter B, ano po ba yung answer natin? Interesting. Medyo pa iba-iba. Okay. Yung letter B po kasi, sa ano po yung pattern na nakikita niyo dito sa letter B? I'm seeing a lot of correct answers actually. Ano po? So, what's happening here is, I'll just put this on the right side, para makita po natin na maayos. So, you have 8 over 27. That's where you started. Pa-change ng kulay. Sandali. So, you started with 8 over 27. Tapos, nagiging 4 over 9. So, 8 over 27, yung 8, yung numerator, paano ba siya magiging 4? So, this is divided by 2. Numerator po muna tayo. It becomes 4. Ayan. Tapos, divide nyo ulit by 2. And it becomes 2. Tapos, divide nyo ulit by 2. And it becomes 1. So, ayan na po siya, right? Yan na po yung pattern na establish natin dito. Na-reach na po natin yan. Because 1 here is also the same as 1 over 1. Ano po? So, we expect that the next number, divide din tayo sa 2. Ano po ba yung 1 divided by 2? That is 0.5 or 1 half. But that's just the numerator pa lang yan. 1 half. Ayan. Napunta naman po tayo doon sa baba. So, yung denominator naman po ay, kung ang numerator dinidivide by 2, yung sabi po dito ni Ma'am Carlene, yung denominator naman ay dinidivide by 3. So, nagiging 9. Tapos, divide by 3 ulit, nagiging 3. Tapos, divide by 3 ulit, nagiging 1. So, ayan na. Nare-receive na po natin yung pattern. Divide by 3 ulit, makukuha po natin ay 1/3. So, this is the answer that we're expecting. 1 half over 1/3. So, paano po ba sinusulat yung 1 half over 1/3? We will have next week session po natin. We'll focus on fractions. Doon ko po ito i-discuss in detail. But this is essentially 1 half times 3 over 1, or it's equal to 3 halves. Again, pag medyo nalalost po tayo sa fractions, don't worry, yan po yung main topic natin next week na session. Ayan po. So, the answer there is 3 halves. So, do you have any questions, or meron po ba tayong answer dito sa letter C, or sa D, or sa E? Okay lang pag-skip po ninyo. Like for example, we're having a difficult time with letter C, perhaps you could answer letter D or letter E. Okay lang po yun. That's totally fine. Okay. Pa-share po ng ating answers for the succeeding items. Ayan, pa-share din po ng ating videos. I-share niyo po sa lahat ng mga friends ninyo, sa mga kakilala po ninyo na kukuha po ng exam this coming August or September, whether LET po or civil service, applicable po ito. Ayan po. So, ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Carlene, yes, reciprocal po. We take the reciprocal when we're doing division. So, we'll discuss that in full detail next week. Huwag ko po muna kayong i-overwhelm ng so many different things ngayon. Ito lang po muna tayo, patterns lang. Ayan, pa-share po ulit ha, doon po sa ating mga friends na nanonood. So, yung pattern po natin and item C here is, as you can see, yung first item po dyan, this is 1 squared. Yung second item po natin is 2 squared, pero negative siya. Yung third item natin, 9 is 3 squared. 16 is 4 squared, pero negative. 25 is 5 squared. The next item is 6 squared, pero negative. So we expect the second item here is 7 squared, which is actually 49. By the way, may nagtanong dito, si Ma'am Annalyn Bilaos. Hindi, sorry. Si IJ pala, IJ Dorado. Wala po yung lowest term. That's it na po. 3 halves. Baka yung ibig mo sabihin ay yung mixed form. If you want to answer mixed form here, you can also have 1 and 1 half. That's the mixed form. Pero hindi po siya lowest term. Mixed po yung tawag dyan. Ayan. Yung lowest term kasi wala ng common multiples. Again, we'll cover that in more detail next week. So your answer in letter C should be 49. Meron po akong dagdag na katanungan dito kay letter C, which we will cover lang later in the next slide. Yes, Sir Mark, yun po yung improper fraction. If you have a larger numerator than your denominator, that is an improper fraction. Just because it's improper doesn't mean na pwede pa siyang i-lowest term. So, yung improper fraction, pwede mong gawing mixed. Pag mixed, may whole number, tsaka meron ding fraction form. So, what else? Letter D, may answer na po dito. Si Ma'am Jevy May, 15625, yes. Tama po, si Ma'am Jevy May. Yung sa letter E, Sir Miko, review ulit. Malapit na malapit po kayo. Paki-check muna. Tama ba? Take two, Sir Miko, take 2 muna. Ayan, si Ma'am Johanna, tama. Si Sir JC, pwede rin. All positive numbers muna. Tapos, mag-alter ka na lang ng sign later, pwede rin. So, I'll have an extra slide. Gawa po tayo ng extra slide mamaya to discuss it in detail. Okay, eto na. Let's take a look at letter D. So ano po ba yung pattern here in letter D? So medyo simple lang naman yung pattern here in letter D, and that is simply, iba yung napindot ko. Ayan. You are simply dividing by 2. So ito po yung sinasabi ko sa inyo that the pattern is not always addition. Sometimes may subtraction, sometimes may division. So we expect na pag-divide po tayo ng 2. Ayan, pag wala pong calculator, baka medyo mahirap-hirap po ito. So practice na po natin na sumasagot tayo ng walang calculator. So this is, 0.15625. Ayan, that's our letter D. So pag medyo iba po yung sagot natin, review po natin kung saan po tayo nagkamali. Ano po? Ayan, while I'm waiting for the rest of you to share your answers in letter E, marami na rin po nag-share. Please don't forget to like, follow, and pakipuso rin po yung ating group tsaka yung post natin for tonight para naman po mas malawak po yung nasi-share natin. Malawak po yung nararating natin, and pakishare na rin po sa mga kakalala ninyo na kukuha po ng examination. So in letter E, medyo may 3 and 4 tayong options dito. Let's take a closer look. Ano po siya? So let's see the pattern. So this one, medyo hindi po kita yung palitan ko muna ng kulay sandali. This is divided by 2. This one is minus 2. This is divided by 2. This is minus 2. This is divided by 2. So we expect that the last pattern here is going to be minus 2. Ano po? Minus 2 po siya. So the answer that I'm expecting here is 4. Ayan. So sa mga sumagot po ng 3, I think you divided it by 2, not plus 2. So tingnan po muna, not minus 2. Pakitingnan po yung pattern and refresh po natin para ma-ascertain natin kung bakit nagkaganon, bakit iba yung answer natin, at paano mako-correct yung same error later. Ayan. So let me add another slide first kasi parang mayroon akong gustong add page. Sa mga interesado, if you are, for example, if you're a teacher and nag-online class po kayo, it would be good if gumamit kayo ng mga programs or anong tawag dito. Gumamit kayo ng mga applications gaya po nito na pwede pong magsulat at mapakita sa students natin online what you're doing. Kasi po, when you are solving, pag nagde-discuss po kayo ng math, iba po kasi kung nag-click lang ako ng presentation tapos puro written na yung solution, parang mahirap pong i-absorb sa mga nakikinig. Iba talaga pag nakikita ng students ninyo na nagsasolve kayo tapos sinasabi nyo along the way, na-explain po siya. Ang question ko po pala dito is, ano po yung answers for each of this? That's the first question. And second question is, alin dito yung pareho? This is A, this is B, and this is C. So, alin po dito yung pareho? So, nagtanong si Tox Empos. I'm using good notes. This is good notes. Sulat ko dito ha. Wala po akong wala po akong tawag dito. Hindi po to paid sponsorship ha. So, this is what I'm using. I think Teacher Gon po, yung magre-review po sa inyo ng math tricks every Thursday. Ito rin po yung gamit niya. Ayan. So, ano po ba yung parehong answer? So, you're saying A and C. Congratulations po sa mga nakapasa na nandito po sa group natin. Ayan. Oh. Sige. Most of you are answering A and C. Actually, A and C are different. Ano po yung pareho? Let's find out later. So, let's check po kung ano nangyayari dito. Recall po natin yung PEMDAS. Hindi po ba pag PEMDAS, you are doing parenthesis inside the parenthesis first, and then exponent, second, PE, and then multiplication and division, addition, subtraction last. So, nauna po yung loob ng parenthesis, before you do the exponent, right? So whatever's inside the parentheses, that's what you use to apply doon sa may exponent natin. Yung mga other operations, after pa po yan siya ng exponent, right? So, parentheses first, then exponent, other operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, after pa sila. So let's take a look at letter A. For letter A here, ano po yung nasa loob ng exponent natin? That's -2, and then you have a square exponent outside of your parentheses. Ibig sabihin, you're supposed to square everything that's inside your parentheses, right? So everything inside your parentheses, kailangan is-square. So -2, what does this mean? This means you have to do -2 times -2, because everything inside the parentheses has to be multiplied by itself, right? And so this will give you 4. Okay, now let's take a look at the second item here. What happens here in letter B is that you are supposed to square whatever is inside the parentheses. So yung isa-square mo lang naman is yung 2, kasi 2 lang yung nasa loob ng parentheses eh. So, yung nasa loob ng parentheses is 2, ulitin natin yung 2, tapos the sign stays outside. Ano po? And so, what happens here is you will get an answer which is -4. Right? Kasi 2 times 2, tapos may negative sign, stays as is. And finally, let's take a look at letter C. This is a common error po in a very basic operation. What is -2 squared? Nasaan po ba yung exponent? What are we seeing here? We're seeing an exponent and a negative sign. The thing is, yung exponent po ninyo ay nakadikit sa 2 lang na base. The -1 is not included. The negative sign is not part of what you're trying to square. What are you trying to square then? Yung sinasquare nyo lang po dito is si 2 lang. You're just supposed to multiply 2 by itself. So 2 times 2 lang po yan. 2 times 2 lang po siya. Multiplying 2 by itself. Yung negative, hindi po siya kasama sa minumultiply. Kasi hindi po siya sakop ng exponent. Okay? And so the answer that you should expect here would be -4. So ano po yung nagkakapareho? It's actually B and C. Sila po yung pareho. Hindi A and C. Ayan. So pakitake a closer look lang po dito sa ganitong item, because I think this is a very, very common error that I encounter in many people na bumabalik sa basic math. Kasi alam niyo po minsan, nakakalimutan po natin siya. Yung mga ganitong bagay po, ano. So, remember that for your exponents, kung sino lang po yung kasama ng exponent, yun lang po yung isa-square natin. So, if the exponent is outside the parentheses, then everything inside of your parentheses is included in what you're trying to square. Pero, kung wala pong parentheses, only the number or variable directly next to what you're trying to square, yun lang po yung isa-square ninyo. Okay? So, yun lang po. Yung only exception lang po dyan is if number na mahaba. Like for example, what if you have 102 squared? So, syempre yung isa-square mo is yung entire 102. Kasi 102 is a number na whole number siya by itself. So, yung buong 102 yung isa-square mo. Pero kung may kasama na po kayong, for example, variable or a sign, hindi na po yan kasama sa isa-square ninyo. Yung isa-square lang po natin is ito lang po na si 102. Siya lang po yung may exponent. Si A wala. Or a negative sign outside, wala po. So this is actually part of our PEMDAS discussion, which we will have in the next few slides. Okay? So if you don't have any more questions and clarifications with this one, let me proceed to the next few slides that we have. Ano nga ba yung next natin? Ito. Nagbibigay na po ako ng choices para po mas, ano tayo. Ayan. So please try this next item here. Pa-share po ng answer ninyo here sa ating comment section. I hope po na clear yung discussion ko doon sa difference ng tatlong numbers, yung -2, squaring -2 in many different ways. I hope po na clear yon. So if you have questions and clarifications po, pwede po natin yung balikan in a while. Okay? So please try answering this one. Balik po tayo dito sa patterns. And if gusto po ninyo talagang balikan pa yung mga videos natin, please be a part of our civil service examination na group. Sa review po natin, magpa-member po tayo at mag-message tayo directly sa Facebook group na Gurong Pinoy International Review para po updated kayo sa mga items and para naman po may complete access po kayo doon sa ating review materials. So what happens is, magbibigay po kami ng advance copy ng questions para if you have time to solve, magagawa po ninyo before the actual session. Mas may time po kayo. Kailan po maisasali yung variable sa exponent? Ano po yung sign? Pag magkasama po sila sa loob ng parenthesis, yun lang po yung time na kasama siya sa squaring na exponent. So, yung exponent ay nakadikit lang sa kung sino lang yung directly katabi niya. Yun lang po. Kung may ibang variable na hindi niya katabi, hindi po siya kasama. Unless, nasa loob siya ng parenthesis. Tapos, yung exponent mo, nasa parenthesis mismo. Everything inside, variables, signs, numbers, and different things inside the parenthesis, kasama sa squaring. Pero kung walang parenthesis, yung katabi lang na exponent, yun lang. Wait, let me remove this first. Ayan. Sandali. So, this one is, sige, let's take a look. Ano po ba yung pattern na nakikita natin dito? Dito na ako sa taas magsusulat. Ano po? Medyo, hindi na po kasi visible sa baba. So, what's happening here is, this is minus 9. This is minus 8. This is minus 7. So, minus 6, expect natin minus 5. Expect this to be minus 4. Ito po yung sinasabi kong hindi ko usually sinusulat lahat ng patterns. So, minus 4, this becomes 52. Ayan. So, if you answered 1, then you got the item correctly. Okay? Sige. So, let's take a look at the next item. How about this one? Ano po yung pattern in this one? So, if you could, please share din po, ano yung pattern na nakikita po ninyo? Is it plus ganito or times ganito? And then, ano po yung answer na nakuha ninyo? And of course, if meron tayong time, paki-share po sa mga friends natin na kukuha rin po ng civil service exam or ng LET na may free time po ngayong gabi kasi I believe yung LET group po ay may different silang session ngayon. Parang Prof Ed yata, I'm not sure. Pero may different silang session ngayon eh. Pero pwede rin naman po kayo dito kasi covered rin naman siya. Ayan. So, ano po ba yung answer natin dito? Ayan. May nakikita na akong tamang sagot. Para ano po yung pattern na nakikita ninyo? Baka po kasi iba yung nakita nyo. Ganyan. So, pwede rin naman po kasi yun na iba-iba po yung pattern na nakikita natin. But we still end up with the same correct answer. Kasi in math, it's not always about doing the thing exactly the same way as the teacher. Sometimes we get to see different things. As long as you don't disobey any rules, then expect that you will still arrive at the same correct answer. So, ayun po yung math ha. Just do not disobey any rules in mathematics and you can get the same correct answer all throughout. So, this is plus 2. Yung nagsiskip po tayo ng numbers, tapos nagpa-plus 2. Tapos, meron din namang part dito na yung ganitong skip, leading to our unknown number. Yung ganyang skip naman is, ano yung pattern? 6 to 12, yung 12 naging 18, yung 18 naging 24. We are doing plus 6. So we expect that our answer here is going to be 24 plus 6, 30. So the correct answer is indeed item number 3. Ayan. So kung iba po yung sagot natin, medyo, tingnan po natin. Bakit kaya? So, plus 2 and plus 6. Papalit-palit po. Plus 2 plus 6. Ayan. Okay, kung iba po yung answer natin, don't worry. You will still have time to review the video later. If possible na hindi niyo ma-access yung video, take a screen cap na po right now para ma-save po ninyo and mabalikan yung item later. Okay? And I think we have here the last item in patterns. Wala na po tong choice. What is the missing number in the series? Wala po siyang choice. This is the last item in patterns before we proceed with PEMDAS. Review po natin ulit yung PEMDAS. Kasi in math, it takes skill, and skill needs practice, constant correct practice, para po mahasa yung skill and then we become better. So in becoming better, common na po yun na before we get better, makikita po natin yung mistakes natin. Nagkakamali po tayo. If you don't commit mistakes, then paano ka mag-improve, di po ba? So what we're doing here is actually you're just squaring. So nagsa-square lang po tayo. So squared. Tapos yung dito naman po, plus 1. So we expect that the missing number here is indeed 5 as most of you are saying, ayan. So marami po nakakakuha ng correct answer. It means, kahit paano, ayan. So we seem to be learning quite a lot today if most of you are indeed getting the same correct answer. So ayan, hindi po ba fulfilling na yung sagot natin is the correct answer? So please don't hesitate to try showing your answers. Okay lang pag magkamali. Ang importante, we know how to correct them if we do get wrong. So, tandas, ulitin na po natin. Basic operations usually involve the well-known abbreviation PEMDAS. This is not just the only topic in basic operations, pero ito yung pinaka-common, yung PEMDAS. Ano po ulit yung PEMDAS? I think I showed this to some of you who were part of the previous reviews. Yung PEMDAS po is the order of operations. So yung technical term po dyan is order of operations. So paano po yung pagkakasunod ng operations when you are doing some calculations? So we have to follow certain rules in here, and it has a specific order. You start with P parenthesis, E exponent, that's the first level, and then the second level. Yung third level is your multiplication or division. So take note na hindi po laging inuuna si multiplication versus division. It's just whichever comes first from left to right. So kung nauna man si division kay multiplication, mauna po si division. Pag nauna po sa left, yung divide bago mag-multiply. So multiplication and division are on the same level. Ito po yung isang common misconception na lagi kayo nag-uuna ng multiply. Hindi naman po talaga ganon. And then the fourth layer po natin is going to be your addition or subtraction. So sa addition or subtraction po, it's also same level po sila. So kung nauna po yung minus sa add, dapat po unahin siya. Pag magkatabi na po sila, o dapat unahin si subtraction. Although, by experience, usually po, hindi naman siya nakaka-affect masyado sa item. Whether you add or subtract first, okay lang. Dito lang naman po, sa may multiplication and division, na medyo sensitive po siya. Kung sino po yung inuuna nyo will really affect what the answer will be in your item. So please be very careful. Multiplication does not always come before division. It's always from left to right kung sino yung nauna between the two. Okay. So, of course, when you're doing basic operations, it's not just PEMDAS. Sometimes you have to consider some things as well, like ano po yung gagawin natin if we have certain numbers or certain things to do. For example, what if you're supposed to add or to subtract, tapos may paiba-iba ng sign, may positive, may negative. So, paki-recall lang po natin yung mga specific things to remember. If the signs are the same, add. Parehong positive, parehong negative, add. Then copy lang po yung sign. So if you have positive, I should use this. Positive, positive, add. And expect your answer to be positive. If you have negative, negative, you still have to add. And then expect your sign to be negative for your answer. Ano po? Pag pareho yung sign, add. Ngayon, if the signs are different, anong gagawin pag magkaiba yung sign? If the signs are different, like plus and minus, you have to subtract. If minus and plus, you have to subtract. Tapos ano yung sign? So, larger number, yun po yung sign na gagamitin natin. Kung sino po yung mas malaki, yun po yung sign na kokopyahin natin. For example po, if we have negative 7 plus 10, so as you can see, negative tsaka plus, so magkaiba sila, meaning we have to subtract. So our answer here is going to be 3. Tapos yung sign, kopyahin po natin yung larger digit, which happens to be 10. Mas malaki po si 10 and positive po siya. So the answer is positive 3. So you don't have to write na po the plus, but it's indeed positive 3. Now, how about if you have 7 minus 10? Ayan, pareho lang. 7 minus 10. 7 is positive, and then your 10 is negative. So, dahil magkaiba po sila ng sign, magsasubtract po tayo. So, again, 10 and 7, pag subtract, that's 3. However, yung larger digit na 10, negative po siya. Therefore, we expect that our answer here should also be negative. Yun lang po siya. Okay po? So, medyo tricky lang naman yung sa addition and subtraction. Silang dalawa lang naman yung minsan nagkaka-confuse tayo kung ano yung dapat gawin. But, here in multiplication and division, wala pong problema because whatever you do, you have to perform the operation. Kung multiply, multiply. Kung divide, divide. That's it. You don't have to remember kung ano yung operation. Yung i-remember lang po natin is yung sign. So, yung sign po dito ay, pag nagkakapareho, so plus and plus, then positive din po yung answer. Pag nagkakaparehong negative and negative, then positive din po yung answer. So pag pare-pareho po, positive, yun po yung rule natin dito in your multiplication and division. Paano naman po pag nagkakaiba? Like plus, negative, and then negative and positive. So your answers here are going to be negative. So paano na ngayon pag tatlo, pag apat, pag lima? Count the number of negative signs. Kapag odd yung negative, then the total answer is negative po. Kapag you have an odd number of negative numbers. So for example, nag-multiply ka ng 1 times negative 3 times 4 times negative 2 times 5 times 7 times negative 8, so on and so forth. So if you're multiplying many different things na magkakaiba rin yung sign, bilangin nyo po kung ilan yung may negative numbers. Kasi yung negative sign, pag may partner po siyang negative din, nawawala na po yung negative. So kapag even numbers yung negative mo, ibig sabihin each negative sign has a partner, mawawala po yung pagka-negative niya. Pag meron ka dyang extra na walang partner, yun pag odd, yung minumultiply mo, then you tend to have a negative sign. Ayan. So I hope na medyo clear po yan because we will now proceed to some of our examples. Let's start with something easy. What is negative 25 plus 16? Ano po yung answer natin dito? So the correct answer here is indeed negative 9. Ayan po. Number 2 po. Sige. So medyo madali lang naman siya. Careful lang po tayo kasi even if we know how to solve, madali po kasing makalimutan yung mga signs pag nagmamadali po tayo sa pagsosolve. So you might get the wrong answer. So I just like you to be very, very careful when taking a look at that. So more practice, more exposure helps us to become better. So how about this one? This is still on operations. No? Which of the following has the least numerical value? What do you think? Least numerical value, yung pinakamababang value po dito. Okay? Meron po ba tayong answer in the next item here? So we have number 1, 6 plus 3 times 4. We have 4 plus 3 times 6. 4 times 6 plus 3. 3 times 6 plus 4. And 3 plus 6 times 4. Remember po, PEMDAS. Ano po yung PEMDAS? Pag PEMDAS po, kailangan natin i-follow yung order of operations. So I think you all have multiplication and addition here. Yung multiplication is one level above addition. So mauuna po si multiplication before tayo mag-add. So if you take a look here, actually you don't have to solve all of these items fully. Ito po yung mga tricks or techniques when you are solving. Pag meron pong choices, sometimes you don't have to solve fully. Kahit konti lang po yung tinitingnan ninyo, makikita po ninyo yung answer. So what happens here, unahin natin yung multiplication. So sa multiplication, this is 12. 3 times 6, hindi siya makita eh. So this is 12. This is 18. This is 24. This is again 18. And this is 24. So as you can see, 12, 18, 24, yung mga answers natin dito, doon pa lang sa my multiplication. So this early on, we can eliminate this and this. Kasi alam natin na malaki yung answer niya. Remember, we're looking for the least numerical value. So, remove na natin yung mga medyo malaki. Ayan. So, remove natin si 24. Now, let's take a look at the next one. 18, 18, and 12. Okay? Yung very first one po kasi is 6 plus 12. So, pag nag-6 plus 12 po kayo, yung answer natin dito is already going to be 18. Ano po? 18 na po yung answer dyan. So, kung titingnan po natin, dito, hindi nyo pa na-add si 4, 18 na siya. So, this is indeed going to be your least number. So, ayan. Kaya pala iba yung sugat ng others here. Kasi least, no. Kailangan po magbasa na maayos ng ating question. Minsan po, yung nasosolve natin is not the final answer yet kasi iba yung tinatanong. So, yun po yung kailangan nating tinan. And then second, if you're trying to answer, especially kung may choices, hindi rin naman po kailangan na isolve niyo fully minsan kasi time-consuming po yung pagsosolve kung uubusin niyo po siya. So, always be particular kung ano yung tinatanong. Kasi baka pwede naman na hindi pa ninyo natatapos, makukuha na po ninyo yung final answer in a faster manner. So remember that we want to do this the fastest possible way kasi marami po tayong ibang sasagutan sa examination. Ano po? Ilan lang po yan? 3 hours? 4 hours lang po. Tapos ang dami-daming items. So, kailangan be efficient. Maximize your time. If you're spending too much time on a single item, I suggest you mark yung feeling mo, tingnan mo yung choices. Siguro ito yung sagot. You mark that item. Do not shade fully yet. Mark lang ng slight. Tapos, skip mo muna yung item. Kasi po, kapag you take too much time in a single item, mamimiss po ninyo mag-spend time into others. Malay mo, yung mga later items pala mas madali. Hindi mo ma-realize kasi nag-take time ka sa isang specific item. Ganun din po pag masyadong mahaba yung reading sa isang item, sometimes I just skip them tapos binabalikan ko na lang pag may time ako. However, if you skip a math item, do not just skip. I suggest mark first an answer in the choices na feeling mo baka ito yung tamang sagot. Mark lang, kahit kaunting mark lang, tapos balikan mo later. Para later, if may extra time ka, pag may time ka pa mag-solve, pwede mo pa talaga siya ma-solve properly. Pag wala ka ng time mag-solve, i-shade mo na lang completely yung mga na-mark mo para hindi ka nag-guessing game lang. Kahit paano gumawa ka ng educated guess in whatever you are doing. Ayan, now let's take a look at this one. Madali lang naman po yung operations. Nga lang, pag matagal na po tayo hindi nagpa-practice, common po na medyo natataranta tayo or nagkakamali-mali rin naman minsan. Tao lang naman po. So we start with parenthesis. Parenthesis pa lang po tayo dito. The innermost parenthesis. So yung innermost parenthesis natin is nandito po. And the answer here is going to be, sandali, palitan ko lang po yung kulay. Sandali lang po. So the answer here is going to be 16. Tapos kopyahin ko na lang po yung ibang items na nasa labas ng parenthesis. So mayroon pa tayong bracket dito. Ayan. Brace. Brace po yung tawag dyan. Now, ano na yung next? So meron tayong different signs here. Wala na pong parentheses na i-consider kasi they are all under the same parenthesis or same grouping symbol. Next is order of operations. So we have to start with the multiplication because it's one layer above addition subtraction. So we multiply this. Si 22 is positive, si 8 is positive. So you just multiply and you get 176 and expect that your sign is still positive. Right? Now let's copy everything else. 16 minus 16 minus 8. Now, yung addition, subtraction po, honestly, wala pong problema kung sino yung unahin nyo. But usually, addition, subtraction, they're all on the same level. Magkakatabi po sila, left to right po tayo. So, we start with 16 minus 16, that's 0 already. So, I can disregard that part. Ano po? So, I'll just focus on this one. Kasi 0 na yung nasa kabila eh. Ibig sabihin, the answer doesn't matter anymore whether mag-a-add tayo subtract. Basta, 0 na siya. So, next one here, we have 168. And of course, it's going to be positive. So, the correct answer here is indeed 4. So, ayan. Practice po tayo ng ating PEMDAS. And remember po yung rules natin. Grouping symbols, and then the order of operations, parenthesis, exponent, multiplication and division same level, addition, subtraction same level. Ayan. And let's proceed to our next item here in which we're looking for the sum. Ito. Sum lang naman po ito. This is more of, hindi naman po siya talaga PEMDAS kasi addition ng lahat, but more of a review lang on some basic operations. May mga lumalabas pa rin pong ganito paminsan-minsan doon sa civil service examination. This is more of checking if you can easily take a look at the items or tama po ba yung pagkakakita natin ng mga items, ganyan. And I might also be able to share some tricks here, tricks of a trade. Alam niyo po, yung item na to, you don't actually have to solve it completely. So, why am I saying na I don't have to solve it completely? Kasi po, your last digits are different. Sandali. Magkakaiba po yung last digit natin. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Actually, you just have to solve one part of this. You can just solve the last digit and then pwede nyo na po siyang ma-check kung tama po yung answer ninyo. So if you do the long method, what you have to do is you have to write pa yung 63, 97, 642, 22. But actually, dahil magkakaiba naman yung last digits, you don't have to look at every single addition, every single layer. You just have to look at your last digits and add your last digits. This is 10. So, 0 na po ito. Yung sum nila, right? Tapos may carry ka. But you don't mind the second digit, the 10th digit. Last lang tinitingnan natin. And then this 2 is 4. And you only have one answer here that ends in 4. So, you have to choose item 3. Okay? Although sometimes you have to be sure din po kasi minsan depende sa instruction. Sometimes the instruction will say, if the answer is not in the choices, choose 5. So what if wala pala sa choice, ano? So you might want to, if may time po kayo, complete na lang the solving. But if nagmamadali na po kayo, like for example, medyo kulang na sa time, you can just solve the last digit. Kasi rare lang naman po na wala yung sagot sa choices. Rare lang naman po yan. Ayan. So minsan, discarte rin naman po. Hindi po kailangan na mag-take time masyado sa every single item. If makahanap po kayo ng techniques na mas napapabilis po kayo, do that. Grab the opportunity po. Yung importante, aside sa tama yung sagot, mabilis tayo. So that we have time for other types of items. Okay, now let's take a look at the next item here.